I'm Deborah H. Carter, and I design and create upcycled wearable art using post-consumer waste, such as corks, paper, cardboard, bottle caps, etc. I started in 2018, and this was the first garment that I made out of Lay's potato chip bags. And it's in 2 pieces, and it's Velcroed in the back, so it can fit a variety of sizes. And this was in a fashion show in Scotland in 2020. And here we have a dress made out of snow and safety fencing. And my husband and I hike around our house a lot, and in the woods, we walked by this pile of snow fencing that just sat there fallow for years and years until I finally said, let's, bring it home and I'll make a dress out of it. So that's the dress that came out of that. This one here I call Origami Mermaid, and it's made from the folding of a cootie catcher, which is, I did it in grade school, and it's on a mesh background, and that's it in that one. And here we have 2 dresses made out of men's ties. There are a lot of ties everywhere. Men aren't wearing ties anymore, so there's plenty of ties to go around. And these are pinned to the dress form. And this one here is a vest made out of ties on a mesh ground. I use a lot of cardboard, and this is a skirt. It's part of a dress, and it is made from paper towel tubing stapled together. And here's a very good example of post-consumer waste materials, packaging materials made into a men's jacket. Someone told me this should be an ad for Kirkland. And here's a painting I did. I was a painter before I was a sewer, and I have a few of my paintings in my studio. This is a decorative vest made out of watches. There are a lot of watches in the Goodwill and Salvation Army because they don't work. So I have a collection of them and made this vest. And when I finished, it was top heavy on the one side, so I looked around and I actually had the perfect counterweight, which was this cat watch. A friend of mine was wondering if I wanted to do something with shredded paper, and so I created this vest, and I sewed it on this machine. It tends to drop pieces everywhere it goes, but my idea going forward with this is I want to do a dress that's just round and fluffy, and yeah, so there's plenty of shredded paper around. This jacket is made from single-use plastic bags. It has a hood, and I used an old tablecloth underneath as the base. It is extremely warm, so much that I wore it in a fashion show once and was sweating. Here's another piece from ties, meant to be worn with leggings underneath, and it makes a nice twirl when you move it around. Let's see. This was actually a costume that I wore to a gala. These are old pieces from a broken hot tub. And this is a denim wedding dress. I sold one of these to a woman who was having a denim wedding, and she saw this in my booth when I was selling apparel, and I got invited to the wedding. Fortunately, I couldn't go, but it fit her perfectly. This was made from an old sail. I had some people saw my work and they said, "Can you do something with an old sail?" And so I actually ended up making bags for them. They gave them away as Christmas presents. And then with the leftover, I made this vest. Let's see. This was obviously a holiday inspired skirt. Makes a nice sound when it moves. And this, I call this piece 6s and 7s. And these are numbers from the Restore in Pittsfield, Mass. And what drew me to them is that when you take a flash photograph of this, the numbers that are reflective and they turn white. This is a very early piece as well. I just got an idea to make a cork dress, and it's on a mesh background, and they are hand sewed to the ground. And in order to prepare them, I had to boil them and then take a serrated knife and cut them in half. So it was a very lengthy process. I had my daughter model it, and I really wanted to float her in water, but it was October and she refused. And back there is Brooke wearing this plant right here. I noticed that this type of plant, when you try to straighten it out, it just gets caught in itself and it's impossible to get it apart. So I thought it would be interesting to just drape it over the model so that she's wearing a plant. This piece is titled Cable Service, and it is comprised of cables from TVs, computers, got a mouse here, and all these came from, again, the Restore in Pittsfield, Mass, which sells secondhand everything. These materials were from Zero Waste Makerspace in Adams, Massachusetts, and they are a 28,000 square foot warehouse. It was an old mill that they rescue anything that's going into a landfill. She's got linens, she's got fabrics. They're a great source for me, and I call it my candy store. So my idea behind this was just this piece with words that you could take out and move around and make sentences with, and it was fun to make because I had a lot of fun trying to make a sentence. This piece is called Dry Clean Only, and it's just simply hangers. A lot of plastic hangers out there, and I had a lot of fun putting that together. This was made for a holiday party at an art school in Cheshire, Connecticut called Arts Place. This piece is titled Well Read, and it's made from 850 pages of a dictionary. And I got the idea to make this because a friend of mine was opening a bookstore in West Stockbridge, and he had everything about books in his barn. And I suggested to him that I would love to make a dress out of paper. And so he commissioned me to make one of these. It was also at the Plaza Hotel in the beginning of May this year at a gala event, and I had a model walking around the cocktail hour talking with guests and authors. This is a photograph of my Lay's potato chip dress entitled Dipsy Chips, And this is Shonda wearing it, and actually all the photographs in my studio were shot by Ogden Geely Photography in Pittsfield, Mass. This piece is called Fleur de Bris, and it was artificial flowers that were going to the dump, and my sister rescued them and brought them to my house. There were 8 huge baskets of artificial flowers. So this one, I painted them gray, and Shonda will be wearing another piece with the artificial flowers a little bit later on in the piece. This is a cork vest, and it's interesting that very early on they used cork for life jackets, and I wish I had a piece of it, a picture of it here. I'll get that sometime, but it's quite interesting to see people wearing life jackets made out of cork. And this is a work I have in progress. These pieces are from, again, Zero Waste Makerspace. They are upholstery samples, and there are so many upholstery and drapery sample books. They're always encouraging me to take more of them. But it's nice because they're usually in the same colorway, so they go together easily. This piece is called Me Shell, and it's made of mussel shells. And I got the idea for the piece because one night my family had mussels for dinner, and I dumped them in the garbage and noticed how beautiful the inside of each shell has an iridescent silver and blue going on, and I thought there was something I could do with it. And so I decided this little shift would work, and each mussel shell is drilled on the top, and it's hung with the thing that you hang Christmas ornaments with. And so when she jingles back and forth, it has a nice swishing sound with the mussels hitting each other. And I first started out with them all going across horizontally and realized it didn't work. So I probably made that, about 2 or 3 times before the final piece. This silver piece is called A Glass Act, and they are real glasses, except I had to make 1 row of plastic because it was too heavy for me to move. So the silver is hardware tape, and this is pinned to the mannequin. And I did make another skirt that was worn at an event with glass. It was kind of a low belt skirt type thing. I was featured in What Women Create magazine this spring, and not only did they do a feature on me, they gave me the front and the back cover. This is my mother's 1939 piano book that I made into a tutu called Judy's Tutu. Again, here's the dictionary dress, well read. And this dress was made from Kodachrome slides and sewn together. So now we'll head out to the hallway for a little mini fashion show. This is Shonda wearing my outfit called The Seedy Side of the News. The skirt is made from Berkshire Eagle newspaper bags. The boa is New York Times bags, and the top is made from a birdseed bag. And in the background we have a painting by Eileen Richard. This piece is titled Free Cycled Flora, and it is part of the artificial flowers that my sister rescued and gave to me. It weighs 13 pounds, and it's built on a wire wreath form. Thank you, Shonda. So thank you for coming to my studio. I'm Deborah H. Carter. I can be reached on my website, deborahhcarter.com. I'm also represented by the Witt Gallery in Lenox, and I am part of the Clock Tower Artists. I am also on Instagram, and thanks for coming.